Hey everyone, and welcome. This explainer is proudly brought to you by Forge College. By the way, if you want to dive deeper into this or really any other Web3 topics, definitely check out forge.college. So today we are tackling a really critical bridge in our journey through AI agents and autonomous systems on Solana. Now you might remember in our previous lesson, reading account state with agent frameworks, we figured out how to read raw account state, right? We were grabbing those raw byte blobs and deserializing them into fields. But here's the harsh reality. Those deserialized fields are messy, they're heterogeneous, they are completely opinionated by whatever the program schema is, and honestly, they're basically raw. So today, we're going to transform those raw payloads into validated, beautifully normalized JSON features. We are officially bridging the gap between raw account state and AI-ready inputs.
Okay, let's dive right into our recipe card for today. We'll start with going from raw state to AI, then introduce the mise en place method. Next, we'll build out our validation pipeline, extract and normalize those features, compare snapshot versus streaming ingestion, and finally, prep it all for AI consumption.
All right, part one, from raw state to AI. So think back to those raw byte blobs and partial objects we extracted previously. Sure, they had commitment tags and some source metadata, but from an AI's perspective, they were completely unstructured. To really put this into perspective, think about it like a kitchen. On the left side here, we have the messy pantry. This is your raw, chaotic, deserialized payloads. Imagine a kitchen where the flour is just dumped in with the sugar, the onions aren't even peeled, and absolutely none of the spices have labels. If you just take those raw ingredients and throw them at an AI model, it's going to get the digital equivalent of food poisoning. I mean, literally, it will hallucinate. It simply can't make reliable decisions with that. Our goal is what you see on the right, the plated dish. We're talking clean, predictable, normalized JSON features. We absolutely have to transform that messy pantry into a standardized format before the AI even begins to process its logic.
Moving on to part two, the mise en place method.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how perfectly a professional kitchen concept maps to our data engineering. Have you ever heard of mise en place? It's a French culinary phrase that basically means putting in place, or gathering and organizing literally everything before you actually start cooking. For our data pipelines, this is going to be our core mental model. It means getting everything prepped, canonicalizing our inputs, setting up labeled containers for provenance, and making sure we have a fixed sequence of small, testable operations lined up, all before our AI chef begins assembling its decision.
Let's map this kitchen analogy out explicitly. Canonicalization? That's peeling and slicing your vegetables. You're standardizing your field names and encodings, like turning a raw hex-encoded public key into base 58, which is just the standard human-readable text format for Solana addresses. Then you have enrichment, which is like marinating your ingredients. Maybe you're pulling in some external price feeds with timestamps just to give the data a little more flavor. Semantic validation is tasting for salt, basically checking if a token supply is non-negative and actually sits within an expected range. And finally, logging diagnostics. That is your kitchen prep checklist, ensuring every single step was done exactly right.
Okay. Section 3. Building the validation pipeline.
Let's look at the actual mechanics of how we wash and chop these on-chain data ingredients. Mechanically speaking, our pipeline takes a deserialized payload and runs it through this exact specific sequence. First up, canonicalization. Second is type coercion, and this one is absolutely vital. You cannot just force a square string peg into a round integer hole without a really safe, lossless conversion strategy. If that conversion fails, the pipeline has to emit an error, but importantly, it still needs to preserve that raw string so we can audit it later. Third, we run required field checks. Fourth, semantic assertions. And fifth, we do our enrichment.
Now, as your data flows through those steps, the pipeline essentially has three core responsibilities, and these must be explicitly kept separate. First, schema enforcement. This asserts data types and presence. Second, semantic validation, which checks your actual business rules and cross-field constraints. And third, provenance tagging. This preserves your source metadata, things like the RPC endpoint you used, the ledger slot, and the commitment level. Keeping these three separate is a huge deal. It prevents silent failures and makes your life so much easier when you have to audit things when they inevitably go wrong.
Which brings us to Section 4, extracting and normalizing features. So the crucial point here is that once we've validated our ingredients, we have to actually shape them into a format the AI can compute. Think of this mapping as your master template. Look at how a raw field transforms here. We take balance_lamports, which, remember, are just the tiny micropennies of Solana. We validate that it's a non-negative integer, and then we normalize it into a brand new feature, balance_sol. This is a scaled float where we've literally just divided the lamports by 10 to the 9th power.
Or check out last_slot. It comes in as a U64. We double-check that it's less than or equal to the current slot, and we convert that into a computable freshness_sex integer. Basically, we are strictly converting on-chain formats into deterministic signals that an AI model can actually run math on.
And when it's time to output this data, we strictly organize it into 3 distinct JSON objects. First, the meta object, which holds all of our provenance. Second, the validation object for our diagnostics, so tracking soft warnings versus hard errors. And lastly, the features object, which holds the actual model-ready values. Why do it this way? Well, by walling off the metadata and the validation diagnostics from the features themselves, we ensure we don't accidentally pollute the AI's direct input while still keeping these beautifully auditable, labeled containers for ourselves.
All right, Section 5, Snapshot versus Streaming Ingestion. Now, depending on what our AI agent is actually hired to do, our data kitchen operates under very different time constraints. Snapshot ingestion is essentially a periodic bulk read. You grab a massive set of accounts at a known slot and you process them offline. It's exactly like doing batch prep early in the morning for analytics and model retraining. Streaming ingestion, on the other hand, means consuming account updates as they happen live via WebSocket. It's near real-time. This is your made-to-order line cooking, necessary when your agents have to react to state changes right away. But here's the secret sauce. While the timing of these two methods differs completely, your normalization logic, that has to remain absolutely identical across both.
And this perfectly transitions us to one of the most critical concepts in on-chain AI, freshness. Freshness is a numeric measure computed simply as the difference between when you observe the data and the current time. If you're streaming, you compute this for every single message. If you're taking a snapshot, you compute it relative to whatever that snapshot slot was. Freshness is such a vital computed signal, guys. It is quite literally the only thing preventing your autonomous agent from very confidently acting on dangerously stale data.
Finally, Section 6, Preparing for AI Consumption.
So even if your pipeline is absolutely flawless, you are going to encounter missing or chaotic elements before the data ever reaches the model. Decentralized data is just messy. Programs get upgraded, optional fields go missing. You absolutely need hooks for soft failures. Let's say a non-critical enum is missing. A good pipeline will set a source aware of the fault and essentially slap a digital band-aid on it, adding a little warning flag to that validation object rather than tossing the whole dish in the trash and dropping the record entirely. That is what keeps your downstream models robust. Now, if it's a hard error, that's different. You halt feature extraction for that record, but you still preserve that raw string for the audit log so you can investigate later.
Honestly, if you take absolutely nothing else away from this explainer today, please just memorize this golden rule. Enforce schema early, separate provenance from features, and treat freshness as a first-class signal. This specific ethos is exactly what transforms fragile little scripts into robust, enterprise-grade data pipelines that AI agents can actually rely on.
I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to chew on. If your validation pipeline fails to catch stale or manipulated inputs, how easily could your autonomous agent be exploited? Well, we are going to dive deep into the answer to that exact question in our next lesson on security and robustness. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and remember, this content was brought to you by Forge College. Be sure to head over to Forge College to learn more about on-chain AI, Web3 protocols, and to keep leveling up on these advanced autonomous systems. Catch you next time.